Hi, it's Aneta here from Aneta Yoga Studio and Wellness. It's day number 32 of 2018, Wisdom of Daily Practice. And today is the 1st of February 2018. And I'm coming up just from my mat after my practice to talk a little bit about my learning of doing daily practice of yoga and loving kindness through the month of January. So 31 days, today is 32nd day of doing it. And there's been some very definite things that I experienced and observed during those during that month. I have got a little note with me because actually there was quite a lot of stuff that happened. And I talked through the month about this, but I'd like to just share it with you because I think it's really, really good to reflect on your learning, because often we just do stuff and then, then we move on to another stuff, then we just so busy rushing around, we don't have time to actually properly notice and acknowledge the kind of learning that happened for us through this journey, and there can be quite a lot of it. So number one that I learned, that the structure is amazing and the structure gives you freedom. It's counterintuitive. Sometimes we think that freedom means being able to do whatever you want, but actually structure gives you freedom. What I mean by that, so for me the structure of the daily practice meant that I went through certain things. So I used something that is called trigger habits. So trigger habits are the habits that you create before you get to the thing, to the habit that you really are focusing on, which is the daily practice. So for me, the trigger habits were getting up around the same time every day, or most days. Then I would come down and put the kettle on and make my hot lemon and honey water. So I did it through the whole of the month, every single day. And then I would get ready and roll out my mat and sit down and do my practice. So on the days that I did that, it was really easy. I got on the mat, I was able to show up, check in with myself, do my mindfulness practice, do the loving kindness practice, and then do my physical asana. On the days that I would start checking my phone as I was waiting for the kettle, it became much more challenging. I became drawn into replying to emails, replying to Facebook posts, other stuff. It became very complicated, and then my energy was somewhere else. So definitely just focusing on what I was doing, which was I'm aiming for my daily practice rather than doing anything else. Everything else can wait. What else is so really, really important at 6:30 in the morning? I mean, obviously it's different when it is to do with the family or children, but otherwise social media and answering emails first thing in the morning can wait really for another hour or an hour and a half. It's really good to use those trigger habits. And I've read about it quite a lot in the past, and I have used it, but I never used it so consistently to actually, with a lot of focus, with a lot of clarity of what I'm doing. So that's structure gives you freedom, because once my practice was done, I could focus just on my practice and then get on with the rest of my day. The other thing that came up, number two, is even though we need structure, we need flexibility within it. So some days so number one, how the flexibility showed up in these 31 days of my practice was that I was able to respond to my needs. So my physical asana practice was not rigid, that I do, 5 sun salutations, you know, trikonasana, triangle, you know, whatever. It was very much fluid and flexible in response to my needs. So on the days that I felt much more tired, I did much more yin or restorative practice. On the days that I had more energy, I would do much more dynamic practice. On the days, interestingly enough, some days I had an extra practice at the studio when I was teaching. After the teaching, you know, I felt like I wanted to move my body a little bit more, and so I did an extra hour of practice, which is really wonderful, because I don't remember last time when that happened, when I had actually my morning practice and I did an extra practice during the day, because it felt like I wanted to move my body a little bit more. So that's quite interesting. And the other way that I did, the flexibility showed up and I really embraced it, is around the meditation. On the days that my mind was really busy, because maybe I was tired or I was preoccupied with something, I actually listened to a recording of somebody talking me through their loving kindness meditation. And that was really, really helpful, rather than me trying to focus and my mind going really insane and mad. I actually used the resources that I had to help me to be more present and actually meet myself as I am in this moment. And we all need support and help at certain times. When something is going on in our lives and life is very unpredictable, we need that support. And I really embrace that support in my practice. Number 3 that came up, which was really amazing, was that setting my sankalpa for this year, my intention, which was clarity and ease, and then understanding that that clarity and ease meant that I wanted to connect with the oneness around me and within me, which is that inner wisdom, that connection to something greater than ourselves, the natural flow of life as it goes, meant that I actually slowed down significantly. I naturally slowed down and focused on the things that are important rather than on the busyness of daily life. So I have got tendency to work really hard. For those of you who know me, you might notice that I've got loads of ideas, loads of stuff, and I can really focus on, you know, I can spread myself so thin doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. And I love this creativity that comes through, you know, but at the same time, it absolutely can be really exhausting if I try to do too many things at the same time. And what I noticed, that because I was doing my daily practice, I've been able to focus on the things that are important for me, on the things that I'm doing. So I'm focusing on this right now, and then I'm doing something else, you know, the next moment, rather than trying to do too many things at the same time. And that meant that I was able to slow down. That meant that I was able to relax into the process much more, that I had the trust in the process, that, you know, I've been able to stick to things for much longer and actually focusing, okay, now I'm focusing on this, and this is what I'm working on, and this is what I'm trying to understand, and giving it space to unfold at its own accord, rather than push, and trying to do it faster, which also had an amazing effect on my energy levels, because when I was tired, I didn't try to push through it. I tried to stay, you know, I stayed with it. I allowed myself a little bit more space. I allowed myself a little bit more of that resting time. And that leads me very nicely to that loving kindness part. Doing loving kindness for the whole month was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I cannot stress how much it changed the relationship to myself. And as I said, it kind of, all of those comes together, and I was able to really be kind to myself when I was feeling tired, when I was feeling upset. I didn't feel like I had to pretend and put a brave face and say, yes, I'm really great and I'm doing this daily practice and I feel on top of the world and really strong and really, really positive all the time. That's not the reality of my life. I don't know about you, but it's certainly not the reality of my life. But it really shifted my relationship with myself, and it really shifted how I relate to other people. And I noticed that it is now becoming my way of being with other people, of rather than getting frustrated with people, just, you know, wishing them to be well, to be happy, to be safe and free from suffering. And it shifts how I relate to people, which is really lovely. It comes from that deeper space rather than, you know, being just polite or just being positive all the time. And it really allowed me that space to connect. It allowed me that space to listen to my own inner wisdom and to really learn to trust more of what I'm feeling and what's going on for me. And it also showed me that I can do it. I can do a lot of stuff with the focus, with the clarity, and that's really one of the most important things to actually, for me, to do it at my own pace, in my own time, how it works for me, from showing up, connecting with other people, through being authentic and myself rather than trying to be somebody else, or following other people's guidance and telling me what to do. Because ultimately it's my life, it's my relationship with myself, it's my relationship to the oneness and the life around me, it's my relationship with other people. And so therefore there is full accountability here as well. So that's what's been happening. And there are I wrote it down in here, a few really unexpected things that happened, few little shifts. So one of them was that I also lost some weight. This is not what I've been aiming for. I toned up quite a bit, which I can really see within my body. But I also, it seems like I lost some weight, because I don't have weight. We don't have scales at home, but my clothes fit in a slightly different way. So that was one of the kind of extra things that happened. The other thing is that I didn't really have any alcohol. Or rather, I had alcohol only twice during that time. So, you know, normally I would have a drink during weekend, as a, you know, with some food or with some family, but I didn't feel the need of having a drink, which was really interesting. And that comes from really focusing on clarity and ease. So because I wanted to be clear about what I'm doing, and because I wanted to do my practice in the morning, and because I know that when I have an alcoholic drink, then the following morning I'm a little bit more groggy and I don't want to sometimes move so easily, then that kind of stayed on the sidelines, which was really good. My sleep has improved hugely. Absolutely hugely, and I've been sleeping so well. There were a couple of times that I didn't sleep very well throughout the month, and that's when stuff was going on for me, and that's where I used quite a lot of loving kindness and breathing to kind of just hold the space for myself. But overall my sleep has improved dramatically, and last night I allowed myself even more sleep. I think I slept 10 hours. I was quite tired. And so rather than pushing through it and still doing stuff and, you know, thinking I have to go to bed at 10:30, not earlier because I'm losing out on something, I just allowed myself a sleep, which was really good. And the last thing that was really interesting for me was that I had few baths this month, and this is really interesting because I am a shower girl. I'm in and out, quickly shower and go, and I love my showers and they're really quick. But I actually allowed myself in the evening a few times to have a bath, to put some aromatherapy oils in and relax and soften and actually take that time to relax And that was really, really interesting, because as I said, normally it's the shower in and out really quickly. It's another just sign of slowing down and taking it easy and looking after myself. So I hope that makes sense. I would really love to hear from you and what you learned about yourself throughout the January self-practice. It would be really great to hear from you, and let me know, post in the comments in the group. It's always really interesting when we take this time to really reflect on what we're doing and how we would like, what kind of life we would like to create, and that intentional creation and what we're doing with it, and how quickly we can see the results when we really commit to it. And we're moving into February. Today is the 1st of February, and the February for me has always been a gratitude month. And so I will be posting a little bit more stuff around gratitude. A couple of people have spoken to me and said that it would really help to bring some more resources around the daily practice, and so I will be posting those in the group as well this month, as a way of gratitude and as a way of thinking about you and helping you out a little bit more. And as always, I really love to hear how you're doing with your practice. Please post, please let me know about your own learning, and let's share this learning, this journey together through 2018. And I wish you a really wonderful month, or a really wonderful day. Namaste.